There she is. Hi, Shruti.
Hi.
All right, we have everyone. So glad to see you all. Hi everyone, and thanks so much for joining this live today. As you know, I'm Claire, and I'm the marketing specialist over here at Norb Wellness Lighting, and also the host of this conference. And I'm so glad to have you three here with me. I'd love for you all to give a brief introduction of yourselves and what you do in the community to kick it off.
Sure. Hi, my name is Dr. Sheikh. I am a headache and stroke specialist. I have my own private practice in New York City. And so a lot of what I see in my private practice, since I see headaches, is migraine. And this is, headaches and migraines are very common during the time when people are working. Especially the work environment can be a trigger. So, if anyone has questions about how to deal with migraines in the workplace or how to talk to your employer about migraine. It can be really, really helpful to speak to your doctor, especially if you have a headache specialist, to kind of guide the conversation. And then it can also be really helpful to kind of just know, what accommodations you're allowed to have or should ask for. Because there's a lot that can happen in the workplace. We spend so much time that obviously you're going to get migraines while you're at work. I think migraine is one of the leading causes of, what we call being at work, but not being as productive as we could be. So not really absenteeism, but presenteeism, I think it's called, where you're at work, but you're just not as productive because, you have a migraine. And there can be a lot of triggers at work too. The lighting, for example, if it's like fluorescent lighting, a lot of noise, if there's not good ventilation, the air quality. So the stress, obviously, of being at work and work itself. So migraine in the workplace is a huge topic, and there's a lot that we can talk about. So if anyone has specific questions, I'm happy to kind of delve into specifically different things about migraine.
That's a great topic. I'm really excited to hear more on that and hear questions as well. Thank you. Sherry, you can introduce yourself next.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just happens to be some fire engines going by right now, and I happen to be in this migraine attack. So I'm going to do the best. I made it through most of the start of Migraine Awareness Month with a couple other live events, and you got to figure one's going to be, one's going to be.
Yeah.
I am the founder of the Headache Hat, which my model Ara is wearing over there, and I'm really happy to be here today. I've also, as not a doctor, but have a lot of personal experience with migraine at work. I am very lucky. I'm not chronic for the most part, although on the spectrum of migraine, I've been on different spectrums my whole life. So sometimes, like right now, I'm just like dealing with it. But I excited to talk about that as well, just from my experiences, what I did. And in actually inventing my Headache Hat, I was working full-time at another job, and I still actually work part-time on this side, but I was working full-time on another job, and I had two coworkers that suffered from migraine, and I was able to create my prototypes and have them try them out as well as myself. So we were comfort for each other during that time. And, they're still good friends of mine, even though I'm not there. So, I'm happy to talk about that and how some of our products, of course, can help. We do have a lot of different styles and a lot of different ways. I know some people wear these at work. I don't wear it at the office, but I certainly wear them at my home office, and have gotten some new styles that you can actually wear out and look kind of normal. So I'm happy to go over that if we have some time, and I'll pass it off. I'll pass it over now, though.
Well, so glad you can make it, even with a migraine going on at the moment. And Shruti, I'll have you close out.
Hey everybody, I'm Shruti. I'm the creator of Chronically Meh. I've lived with migraine all my life, almost all my life. So I've been through it all, as a child, as a student, as someone who's just starting a career, as a mom, as everything. So I'm happy to talk about migraine and mental health, which is what I talk about on Instagram. I illustrate about it because that's how frustrated I was, and I really needed a place to vent. And that's what I do. So I create content to help other people feel a little less alone. And if you have any questions around this topic, or, even migraine at work or school or anything like that, I'd be happy to answer it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all being here today. So a little bit about this conference and about Norb that I'll kick us off with, and then we'll pass it over to you guys. So Norb just really feels strongly about the chronic illness community and chronic migraines. And so we have been a big advocate in this community and really wanted to do something special for the month of June, which is Migraine Awareness Month. And so we've worked with a lot of great brands and partners in the past and just wanted to kind of bring people together and touch on a lot of these great topics and products. And so all of June we'll be running this conference, and we have 3 different events every Friday. Next 2 Fridays, we have 2 more events, and we have 8 guest speakers and 16 prizes and a giveaway with tons of great information and awesome topics, speakers and doctors. I'm super excited to have some different brands. So yeah, this is just the first one to kick it off. So I'm so glad you guys are here. So all our events will be hosted on Instagram Live. And for those of you who don't know, I mentioned that we have a giveaway, and we actually have 16 prizes in the giveaway donated by our really generous guest speakers. The prize value adds up to over $400, and some different consultations. I know if each of you want to quick speak on what you're giving away and in our giveaway.
Sure, I can start. So I sometimes have partnered with other really great brands that offer migraine products that you can use at home, at work. So I will be actually giving away, actually, they happen to be right here, so I can show them to you.
Perfect.
So this is NorbRELIEF Now. This is a vitamin blend that you can use while you're having a migraine. They also have kind of a line that is as a preventive with different vitamins that have been found to be helpful for the prevention of migraine. But this one you can actually take while you're having a migraine. So that's really good to try. This I really love. I actually use this sometimes myself. If you have nausea with your migraine, this is an inhaler, and it really helps. And helping the nausea component of your migraine can sometimes help decrease the overall migraine itself. So just this can be really helpful if you're traveling. And then I think you're also partnering with Ruhi Well, but they make a whole great line of balms and to put on. So this is a head soothing balm that has some different oils. And then NorbRELIEF also makes a roller. So I'm going to put all these together for whoever wins and send that to them. And then I'm also offering, just a 15-minute consultation with myself to kind of talk about migraine, kind of the different preventives, different things that come up. So those are the 2 things that I'll be kind of offering to whoever wins.
Awesome. And Sherry.
Hi. Okay, so of course we're going to put together a Headache Hat package for the winner. This is our original design, which has 24 ice packets in it. This thing stays cold for up to 2 hours, which is, I wish I was home because this is not cold right now, but I did put my Norb light on at least. But is the original Headache Hat, and as you can see it there, but you can of course block out the light, which is wonderful. And I get a lot of pain like right on the eye, like orbital area, and so these packets inside you can really kind of target your pain points. I also like to pull it away from my ears. The little ice packets can be moved so that you don't have that annoying like ice on your ear situation going on. And you can really on, you can either sleep with it on or do your work that you need to, but you can really move it around and sort of customize it how you need. I'm also going to include with it the fleece barrier, which you can put it on this to create a soft layer, and to also, because it's so cold when you first put it on, some people cannot take that cold right away, so you can leave that on for like the first 20 minutes. So we'll include that, and we're going to include our gel baseball hat combo, which this one's really the one that if you're going, I wear this like if I'm taking my kids to practice or something and I don't want anyone to know. You first put the baseball cap on, you get this brim nice and rounded to block out the light, and then you put on the cooling gel, which has gel all around on the top and around the sides. This could actually be heated. I'm a cold girl. I'm not a heat girl when I'm going through this, but then, you're driving in the car and nobody really knows what's going on there. And then, after about 10 minutes or so, this one does not last as long as the original, I will say that right now, but after a while you can actually flip it around. Oh, you have to adjust the back a little bit to make it larger. And then you could flip it around and wear it with the cap over to feel that cold right on your head. So I'm going to include that. And I think I'm going to throw in one more item, maybe one of our halos, which is a 2-row version, which is a little more compact, a little less, but also a fabulous product and can be worn around the baseball cap as well.
That's awesome. And I love that you can custom pick whatever headache hat you think would work for you in the giveaway. And then Rudy with Chronically May, she is here with her time and giving us some great advice. And definitely check out her Instagram as well, because she, like she said, she speaks on a lot of great topics. And we also have a bunch more products, two Norb lights and shades for migraine, beach towel and sunglasses. You get a month to vestibular group fit, and some supplements and vitamins in there as well. So you can check out the whole list and also sign up for the giveaway at norblighting.com/migraine-conference. And you just fill in your email and name there. And also it's linked in our bio, and I'm sure you guys will all post it on your Instagram stories where you can find it after. I've been linking it in the Instagram story as well. So make sure after the conference to go sign up for the giveaway and check out the awesome products there. So I'm going to kick it off by just talking a little bit about Norb and our green light that you can see here in the room. And so I just want to start off the conference by saying that you guys might not know, migraine impacts 1 in 7 people worldwide. So that's 80% of people who's suffering from migraine. And most of these people actually have phobia or light sensitivity or an intolerance to light. And like 90% of those people aren't able to work or like normal while they're having migraine. A lot of people have to sit in the dark or cover their eyes. But this NorbRELIEF light, this is one of the only lighting products you can actually sit under that doesn't irritate a migraine, and it actually can help create more pain relieving natural properties in your body. So you can sit under it when you're having a migraine, you can work under it. It's also just a very soothing, calming effect. And so a little bit about Norb and NorbRELIEF background is that our CEO was creating grow lights for plants, and he decided that he wanted to create the best grow light so that plants could healthy and be happy and healthy and grow faster. And then he realized that people need the correct lighting too. And so this is where he came into the Norb lighting space, which stands for NutraOrb. And it's really a human-centered light that you can use in your home, your office, your living spaces. And we have all kinds of different products that you can see a few of them here. We have our, let's see, how do I turn this? We have our Relief light, our Smart light, Focus, Sleep, Smile, and a lot of great lighting products that when used together, it's just a lot more natural and healthy for your body because these lights mimic that found in nature. And the Relief light itself, which we're really talking about today, is a migraine relieving light, and it helps your body naturally create those pain relieving properties, help with migraine, headaches, and also fibromyalgia and neuropathy. And so a lot of people are curious about how it works and the science behind it. And it was actually discovered by a doctor in Harvard, Dr. Bernstein, and he was researching light as a trigger in blind people. And that's when he found that pure green light is less of a trigger than any other color. And this was in blind people who, they can't see great, they're impaired, and also suffering from a migraine. And so that's when he created this green light, which is different than other green lights that are covered, or maybe Smart light that has a green spectrum, because it's pure green and it has a very specific spectra that is flicker free, a narrow green band. So when you sit under this, it really helps you reduce your pain. A lot of people use it before, during, or after migraines for, you know, any time is great, but 15 minutes to a half hour in the morning or at night can really, really help. And yeah, it's a really good way to.
Can I just suggest that
yeah.
anyone on our conference here who's not on mute, go on mute, only because you're going in and out a little bit, Claire, and I'm not sure if it's because of, you know, sometimes it helps to go on mute.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Well, I hope you guys heard that, but yeah, and then also in the giveaway is our smart light. So the relief light here is this green light, and our smart light actually has a couple of our best-selling lights on there. It has the circadian rhythm with the sleep and the smile, which you can set throughout the day. And then it has our NorbRELIEF leaf light, which is a lighter green light that also can help with migraines and comes from kind of the discovery that sitting in the forest and forest bathing under green light is great for you. So the cool thing about our lights, they're all around the $20 to $25 range. So it's kind of an inexpensive way and a non-invasive way to support some of your other tools to help with migraine. And so our goal here is really just for lighting for better working, learning, and living. And a lot of people say it's light changing. So hopefully you guys can try them out and discover the light changingness for yourself. And now I want to turn it over to our speakers here. And Dr. Sheikh, I'll have you go first as she has to leave a bit early. Oh, I think you're on mute also.
Sorry, forgot to unmute myself. Yes. So yeah, I was gonna say, you know, it's really great to have Norb lighting because, you know, so migraine essentially is oversensitization of the nervous system. And so people that have that genetic predisposition, you know, they are more prone to environmental triggers causing their nervous system to become more sensitive. And when we think about the nervous system, or we think about migraine, you know, we think about headache as being the most prominent symptom, but for a lot of people, there's a lot of other symptoms. And for a lot of people, a lot of their other symptoms might actually be more disabling. Some people get very dizzy. Some people have what we call allodynia, where they can feel like their scalp hurts or their hair hurts. Some people can have photosensitivity or light sensitivity with their migraine, but even in between attacks. You know, if you get to the point where you have chronic migraine, you might just be light sensitive all the time. And that can work in two ways. You know, you can have light sensitivity when you're having a migraine, but also light, especially patients notice like the bright sun or fluorescent lights, can be a trigger for your migraine. So it's really great to have something that's like an adjunct that you can use, you know, even in between migraine attacks, to try to help increase your threshold of getting a migraine. Especially at the workplace, having different things that decrease your triggers can be very helpful. We know that like the computer screen can be a trigger for some people because it, you know, causes them to have a lot of eye strain. So wearing, you know, blue light filter, which blue light we think is kind of like the opposite of green light. We think it's a little bit irritating to the brain, whereas we think that green light is a little bit more calming or relaxing to the brain. So wearing blue light filter, having that green light in the background, having a filter on your computer screen can be helpful. Taking breaks. So we tell patients to follow the 20-20 rule, which is, you know, every 20 minutes for about 20 seconds, take a break from your screen and look away, you know, a bit farther away. When you're at your screen, you're staring like right in front of you, but for 20 seconds, look at something that's a little bit further away. You know, other triggers at work that you can think about are, you know, how we're sitting at your desk. If you're in front of a computer and you're sitting, you want to make sure that, you know, you're ergonomically correct, because that can be a trigger for a lot of patients, especially if they carry all their stress in their neck and shoulders. And then even throughout the day, making sure you're staying hydrated, making sure that you are taking time away from work if it's very stressful for you, making sure you're taking your lunch break and eating something healthy, making sure you're not drinking too much coffee, but if you're used to coffee, making sure you're not skipping that. So I guess the way to think about migraine at work is, you want to try your best to avoid the triggers that happen at work, but you also want to make sure your employer or the people around you at work understand what it means when you're having a migraine. So, it does mean that you might need to take a break and be in a dark room because the light is just too much. It might mean that you are feeling much more irritated than usual, right? So, anyone who's in pain, it can be hard to kind of talk to them because, you're just not in the mood to kind of like have a big conference or talk about things. So, or you might need to just go home. Sometimes it is better just to take a break so you can recover. So it's important, I think, to have these conversations with your employer, and maybe even talk to HR about providing educational materials to your employer, to everyone else at work, so that they understand when you say you're having a migraine, you're not just complaining about a headache. This is a real disease that has attacks or intermittent symptoms that come up. Because unfortunately, I think a lot of people, especially women, don't talk about their headaches or their migraine because they don't want to be seen as someone who's trying to get out of work or complaining. And we call this kind of like the stigma of migraine. So I think it's important to just educate people and let them know that this is a chronic disease that you have, similar to asthma. I actually like to kind of compare it to asthma. You always have asthma, but there's going to be things in the environment that trigger your asthma attacks. And that can be a good way to kind of give them that analogy about, I always have the migraine brain, but sometimes some days are going to be harder to work through than others. So.
Yeah, we had a question from Sharaman123, and they said, what's the best way to recover from a migraine when you're studying, but you don't have time to lay down or be in a dark place?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. A lot of people do find that sleep can help them. So if you are in the middle of a migraine attack but you can't sleep or find time to rest, I think it's important to talk to your doctor about finding a good abortive. A lot of these things that we are, showing you today can be helpful as well if, in addition to your medication. Rollers that can be helpful on your temples if they're very tender. The Headache Hat, a lot of people find ice to be very, very helpful when they have pain and migraine. But it's really kind of, if you're not able to rest, it can be really hard because you have to kind of let these medications kind of kick in and take time to work. So.
Yeah, I think that's some great info, especially looking away from your computer or your screen every, did you say 20 minutes?
About every 20 minutes, yeah. Yeah, just for about 20 seconds. Doesn't have to be too long, yeah.
Thing I try to do, and a doctor once said that you can set a timer for every 20 minutes and just get up, move your body,
exactly.
and make screen and stretch out your arms, because I also sometimes get wrist issues from so it's important to just remember to get up and walk around and not sit at your screen for too many hours on end.
Yeah.
Great. Well, do we have any other questions for Dr. Sheikh? Feel free to put them in the comments about.
I think another question. I think there was one about age on there that I was reading before, and someone was asking, what age factors in. I don't know, if there's anything that you could add on that. Obviously, I think there's a whole story, right?
So it's interesting. I mean, age is, so migraine is 3 to 4 times more common in women than men. And it really, the pattern of migraine or the prevalence of migraine really follows the hormonal changes that women go through. So actually, before puberty, boys and girls have the same prevalence of migraine. But then when puberty hits, the prevalence for women goes way much higher. And it tends to be most prevalent, most present during women's reproductive years. So this is also the time where they're in the workforce. And they, for a lot of people, for a lot of women, the time of their menstrual cycle and then ovulation is a time when that's a huge trigger for them. And then when women are pregnant, actually their migraine, for the most part, for most women, tends to get a lot better because your hormones are much more stable. No, yeah. So yeah, it's 80 to 90%, but there are some where it can be the opposite, unfortunately. And then perimenopause and menopause can be a time where they get a lot worse, at least for a little bit, because their hormones are again unstable. So it really all has to do with the changes that are happening with your hormones that your body picks up. And so yeah, they're much age. They are much more prevalent during your reproductive years, but that's in women because they're so much more common in women that their migraine is studied much more in women. Yeah.
Do they say that why they think that is, or why migraines are more prominent in women? Is it the hormones? Is it?
Yeah, so that's the most common theory. It has to do with hormones, especially the estrogen changes that occur during these different times. We think that estrogen is connected to pain receptors in the brain. So that's how that's the most common theory for why it's much more common in women. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. That was a lot of great info. I don't know if anyone else has questions, or Sherry or Shruti, if you have anything to add, we can continue to talk about this topic. I think it is a very important topic.
And I can certainly stay on. I can actually stay on, but I am going to just close my camera, but I can stay on. So if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you so much for your time and for joining.
Of course.
Great.
Take care. I'll still be on. I'm just going to take my camera off. Okay.
Shruti, were you going to go? Go ahead if you had something to say.
Yeah, to the person who said, how do I get through it when I'm studying? You really have to stop. Pushing yourself through a migraine attack can only make it worse. And when you do it consistently, which is what I did, I'm like a type A person, really wanted to push myself, high achiever, wanted to be good at everything. So I kept shutting off that voice that said stop, and working through the pain and studying through the pain, and it just snowballs after a period of time. And by the time you realize that you should stop, it's a little too late. And by that I don't mean it's not reversible or you won't recover. It's just you lose out on so much just because you don't listen to your body in those moments. And school is school and college is college, and that's not life. And not being able to study for an hour is not going to take anything away. And you just need to learn how to take it easy and just not succumb to the pressure that's there around you. I mean, study because you love it and not because you have to. And then that makes all the difference when it comes to the stress you put on yourself.
I love that, because I found that later in my life, I got a little nicer to myself, and same thing, and I still do it, right? Like, you push yourself through things, but I do find I give myself more of a chance to go into my bed, when I really need to. And it's a different thing. I mean, maybe it's because my kids are a little older now and I feel like more okay with that. And maybe because I'm mostly, I'm working on my own business, but I know that feeling, and all through my years, probably, until real recently in the last 5 years, when I've kind of let myself in the day, I would always wait till the night, just to go to bed, but like in the day to stop if I need to. And I think that's great advice. Claire, I was curious about the sleep light, or the light that had to do with sleep, because I know sleep impacts me so much and can be a trigger if it's not a good night's sleep, or especially if you're tagging that, day after day. I'd be curious about that light, and if that does actually help, just to kind of get your sleep rhythm down.
Yeah, great question. So I think all of our lights are so cool because they mimic the lighting found in nature, and that's why they're wellness lighting, because the spectra actually match nature. So if you were to take a lighting meter and point it at the sun and then point it at our smile light, they're the same spectra. because it's more natural. It's better for your body. It's better for circadian rhythms. And so our sleep light and our smile light, they both mimic that in nature. And the smile light is the full spectra of the full daytime sun, and really boost your energy, boost your mood. And then paired with the sleep light helps you produce natural melatonin in your body before bed. And it's also a low blue light. So you might hear that all the blue from your screens is bad, and it keeps you awake and it keeps you energized. But this light has low blue, and it has the spectra of dusk time. So it's a lot calmer on your body. And all of our lights are also dimmable, so you can dim it and you can put it in a shade and read next to it, and it's a lot better than being on your phone at night. And yeah, sleep and things like good lighting is just so important for migraine. All of these lights can really help when paired together, help lessen migraine. And hopefully you get less when you have good lighting, when your light's not flickering or it's not the wrong spectra for your body during that time of day. And so that's where our smart light also comes in, because it has a lot of those bestsellers on there, our best-selling spectra, like our smile, our sleep, our relief light. So you can kind of try them all out. And yeah, so I think it's just really important to get that healthy lighting and get your sleep. And I think Shruti probably has a bit to say about sleep and how it can relate to mental health and migraine as well.
So sleep is so important, and it's a vicious cycle, right? If you're in pain, you can't go to sleep. If you can't go to sleep, then you're in pain again the next day. And sleep is that time when your brain gets to just focus on the necessary things, like processing your memories from short term to long term, like healing your body, and healing your gut, etc. So if you're not getting enough sleep, literally everything gets impacted. Your mood, your energy, the way you digest food, and everything else gets impacted. And mostly it's mental health. Like if you notice on the days that you get less sleep, you are very irritable, you snap at people, you'd probably blow a fuse over just not being able to, or if you could get confused between water and milk or sugar and salt, and then blow a fuse over making that mistake. So sleep is a very important part. I had so much trouble with sleep. Again, type A, really loved working, so I'd work 16 to 20 hours a day. Or when I was studying, I would stay up until, midnight or 1 or 2, because I was in a hostel, and, we'd just have fun. And then I'd wake up again at 3 and 4 to study for my exams. It's the energy levels that I was feeling, and, depression and anxiety. That's something I've lived with all my life. And I noticed that after my tonsillectomy and after doing so much to get a sleep routine in, I do feel much better. I do find that I have more energy. I really think it contributed to having less pain. So your brain's just more and more sensitive when you don't have sleep. And when we live with migraine, hypersensitivity is a problem. So you need to do whatever you can to reduce those external stresses, whatever's in your control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to that, so like everyone mentioned, sleep is actually a very active process. We think of sleep as being very restful and we're kind of not doing anything, but our brains are actually very active during that time. It's processing the memories during the day, what we have to consolidate and what we don't need. And there's lots of studies to show that people that don't get enough sleep, there's issues with their memory and cognition when they're older, dementia, and it definitely correlates as the number one trigger for migraine as well. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of reiterate what everyone is saying. It's so important to have good sleep hygiene and make sure you're getting good sleep.
Awesome. Thanks for stepping in there. I think a great topic to kind of bring us into different products that we use in our toolkit for migraine, and different things that you guys think work. We can talk about Headache Hat and a little bit more about how that works.
Sure. Yeah, happy to. So I'll kind of just start again with that original design. Um, Basically back in 2013, and as we were talking about pregnancies and hormones, it was really bad for me during pregnancies. And then I got like chronic headaches postpartum that were just like every day. So it wasn't a migraine, chronic migraine. It was more chronic headaches when I went into that stage. But I was just frustrated with the type of ice packs that were out there. At the time, back in 2013, there really wasn't much of anything. And I wanted to get ice cubes to stay all over my head. And I was literally having a migraine attack. And to get through it, I was holding my Ziploc bag of ice and kind of just envisioning what could I do to get these ice cubes to stay there so that I could just go to bed, you know, with it on my head and, you know, have that long lasting ice, unlike the gel packs that don't last very long. You know, I could just lay there and go to sleep. So that was and I just took a pair of Pilates plants literally like after I was done with the attack, and I started designing things and came up with the name Headache Hat like immediately. And my husband was like, are you serious? So anyway, this original design to me is still my go-to because it has the longest lasting ice and the pressure on the pain points. So even though I get, most of mine are traditional one side, like usually eye, head, most, but I do get some, you know, other weird ones. Even though I'm like that, I like it all over. The thing about the Headache Hat is it actually is customizable, where I have seen people take half the ice out. If you wanted to, you can. There's like a compartment on one side, and you can add more ice in, and you can add and take ice out. And for me, I like it all around because that numbing sensation is really the full distraction from the pain for me. It's like so cold that it overpowers like the migraine. I see you shaking your head, Trudy, right? It's just like, it's cold and it hurts, but it takes away the pain. I'm not a doctor, and I don't get into, you know, the nerve blocking and all that, but that's kind of what it does. This is what's inside. So it's real ice. Unlike gel, you know, this is these ice cubes, and all together in here, they make it last a really long time. So this design is really for anyone and anytime. You know, mostly people don't want to wear this out though. So that was why I started coming up with some other designs, some fun ones. I do have some pink. This is the Headache Halo, and it has 2 rows. So the 2 rows, and there's still quite a lot of ice on this thing, and it does still have a lot of coverage, but it's kind of fun. If you were, you know, outside going for a walk, you could wear this, you know, and not feel quite the same as your bedtime one. And then we have a range of products. The one I wanted to bring up today, besides the baseball hat, which we went over before, is the travel emergency. I call this the Emergency Go. So this is a travel set. So it comes with 3 of these plastic baggies and this sleeve. We do have something called the Headache Hat Go, which you put a sleeve of ice in. But for this is for the hotel ice. When you are in a situation, right, and you don't have a mini freezer, or you don't have time to freeze your Headache Hat, this is crucial. I'm going away in a couple of weeks, and I am taking this with me. And you put your hotel ice in there, and then you just open up the sleeve. And, you know, it's a little crude. It's not exactly like, you know, the style isn't there, but you're putting it in, and it's keeping it in place. And, you know, it's not the same. It's not the crinkly plastic bag of ice directly on your head, which is, you know, no fun with the leaking there. So anyway, this Headache Hat Emergency Go, that is also on our site. And, you know, that's kind of one of the things that I just could try to come up. I love hearing from people and what helps you and what are the things we're missing, because even though that original Headache Hat is always going to be my favorite, there's always something for somebody else. And I also have neck issues, and that often is a trigger for me too, if my neck is out of sorts, and I have that bulging discs in my neck. So when those are flared up, it's just awful. You know, it's one arm and the head, and then if you get a migraine attack on top of that, it's the worst. So what's great about the Headache Hat is you could just easily put it around your neck. And this is how I am a lot of the time as well. And sometimes, because it's really one side for me, sometimes I'm just throwing it over my shoulder too. So this is extremely versatile. This product, everyone in your family will use it because it's great for boo-boos, and it's not, you know, the soft material my kids prefer to the plastic ice pack. So that's the original. And the baseball cap, again, like if you get a chance to look at this one, it's really just a nice way to go out sort of feeling more like yourself, and, you know, not having to carry with you the look of the Headache Hat, and being able to be very discreet about having your migraine out, attack out in public. So, and why I like this one too is sometimes my kids have to go out early practices. The headlights kill me. I haven't yet found a pair of the glasses for the headlights at night, but I'm looking for one of those if someone has some thoughts. But this is a way to sort of bring it down and block out some of those. I'm not going to block out everything, but at least it helps you. So it's not just the sun, it's also the headlights that I really struggle with in my age now. It never used to bother me, and now I hate having to do the drives at night in the winter in the Northeast. It's killer. So those are a few, and there's more on our website. So we're happy to answer any questions, and we love hearing from our customers. So definitely give us an email at customersupport@theheadachehat.com if you do have any questions.
I think your variety of products is my favorite part. Just that we got the pink for the people who love pink. You have the hat. I think that's a great way to go out in public. And I love the wraps, the way you can put them around your neck or even like on your knee or something if other parts of your body are hurting you. Because I actually get a lot of migraine pain from my neck pain because of stiffness and working at a computer. And I think that's a great way to put it or wear it around your neck and kind of help relieve from the starting point. And then also just while traveling, I mean, traveling is a time when migraines come on a lot. You're not at home, you're not in your typical environment, and you're on a plane and you're uncomfortable in your small seat or you're in a car. So great to be able to travel with your products as well.
Yeah. Thanks. And we did just recently launch a battle box, a migraine battle box too. And I tried to incorporate some of these other ideas. We were talking about the stretching before, and one of the things, and I was a Pilates instructor, I do keep this by my desk all the time. And I am always, I think opening up the chest because of everything that we do like this is also really important. And already it was brought up, Dr. brought it up before because of all the work that we do on the computer, and it's really not helping anyone, and taking that little breaks when you can, I think is huge. Any products that can help, anything you can find to sort of try to reduce the pain or the onset is going to be helpful. So yeah, we tried to put a box together and had some of those other items. I've been smelling the peppermint because that's the only thing I could smell. I when the nausea hits, I don't want to smell anything else. It's like the only thing that smells okay. So those are other great tools to have for sure.
I agree with that so much. I think ice was the simplest tool. I grew up in India. There weren't many migraine relief products available. So my mom would always give me, wrap up ice cubes in a towel and then tie that around my head. Needed to find a way to make it stay. So then we used Ziploc bags and fill it with water and then froze it and then used it. It was really troublesome because it's hard to do all that when you have a headache. So it helps to have products like this. And aromatherapy is again such a simple thing. I know a lot of people find they are very smell sensitive. So sometimes they can't even take peppermint or tea tree oil or eucalyptus, but I find that helps me as well. And little things like the baseball hat and sunglasses when you're outside as dark as possible. You can use migraine glasses when you're indoors. And of course, there are a lot of neuromodulators on the market if people can afford them. Those really help.
Yeah, Shruti, what are your best travel products, would you say, for migraine?
I think wherever I go, even if I go downstairs to pick up my daughter from, the bus stop, I have eucalyptus and peppermint hand cream in my pocket. So anytime that I'm feeling a little bit nauseous, which I do when I'm outside because of the light and the noise and the movement, it makes me very nauseous. So I usually just apply it and keep on sniffing on it. Hat. I have migraine glasses. I use Avulux. I carry my Cephally device everywhere. Don't care who is watching or who's looking at me, who finds it weird, I still use it. And I always have, let's say, I haven't used Headache Hat, I'd love to, but I do have the old, the ice bag, which people use usually for hot water, but I just kind of freeze it hard into a ball and just lie on it. I also use something like this for neck traction, a lot of acupressure products. a seasickness band for the nausea, and noise canceling headphones.
Oh yeah, very important.
All right, Shruti, I'm going to have to get you a headache hat. We have to work on that.
I'd
We have
love
a
to
lot.
try it out. I've heard a lot about it from my friends. So yes, absolutely.
And Trudy, have you tried NorbRELIEF as well?
Yes, when I'm home, it's NorbRELIEF. In fact, I carried it with me to India on my trip last year because I just, India is very triggering for me. The environment, the pollution, everything is quite triggering for me. I lived in pain every single day when I was there. So every time that I was home, and I was just discussing this on my story, my room is a dark room in India. Like, I make sure no light ever gets in, and having Norb in that room felt really good because that was my way to unwind every night.
Yeah, I love that you brought it there. And I know we had a lot of questions of people in different countries asking if NorbRELIEF is going to expand someday. And we're definitely hoping to do that someday. But we're currently in the US and Canada. And I see we had a question. Someone said, what is the mechanism of action behind green light's effect on health? So green light can be used for more than just migraine pain, which some people don't realize. Because it is a flicker-free, narrow green band, it actually is used for a lot of therapeutic purposes. And if I get the box out right here, you can see what is NorbRELIEF and what is it used for. And you can read that it can also help with pain like fibromyalgia and neuropathy. And that's kind of when you are sensitive to pain or sensitive to your nerves, and you might not be able to feel things as well with neuropathy. So kind of sitting under the green light can help. And then also it can help with light sensitivity is a huge one. If you are sensitive to your typical lights, sitting under this is a great way to really help with that. And so just it can help with your headaches and migraines, obviously, but also the symptoms of headaches and migraines. Some of these symptoms could be nausea or anxiety or insomnia. Maybe your migraines keep you up at night. And this light can help kind of soothe and calm and relax and help with some of the different triggers that come alongside migraine as well.
And the best part is because it's just a bulb, you can fit it into any lamp. You can even take it to the hotel with you and unscrew the bulb, in the hotel and put Norb in there. So it's really versatile that way.
Yeah, for sure. We had a few migraine sufferers actually use our product for 4 weeks, and we did a 4-week study on it, which you can find on our website. But a lot of them put it in their overhead lights and would use it every day as their normal lighting instead of your typical white light. They were using the green light, and they actually said that their family started loving it, their kids loved it, their pets would be drawn to it, and all of their family could just kind of feel the therapeutic essence of the green light. So I think
You need to start making the office lights, because that's like what I have above mine. So maybe that's next. And speaking of, migraine at work, I mean, you can make those long office tube lights, and we can replace those overheads. That would be huge for someone in an office situation. I think that's your next, maybe that's your next goal.
Or a little green light room where you can go sit and work, have a migraine, or you're feeling stressed out. That would be a great, great thing.
We were discussing this a couple of days ago with some friends at Migraine Canada. We said, wish all workplaces had green light rooms and a room filled with green plants, because it's so soothing and it does help. So whenever people need a break or they're in pain or they're just feeling anxious even, they can just go and sit there. It's a wish for the future.
Yeah. A wish and a hope for the future. Better lighting in all our offices.
Yeah. One other travel thing that I could bring up, and it's not just travel, but just general, I like with temperature control can be a trigger for me with migraine. So I have Raynaud's, and if my fingers and toes, and literally it doesn't even have to be cold, this is just, you know, a neurological thing as well. And I like to keep with me like the package of the hot hands, or a hot pack that you can put in the microwave when you're at the office. I do have a Headache Hat style hot pack that I can put in the microwave and put on my toes or somewhere too. But when traveling, you know, I think these things are key. On an airplane, suddenly it can just get like so cold, you know, and there's already so many triggers on an airplane, right? So, you know, it's always good to have all these things with you. You know, the more you feel prepared and you go prepared, the better, you know, your chances are of, you know, avoiding an attack or at least lessening the attack. So yeah, some other thoughts there. And I'm sure there's more that I'm not remembering right now because my head's a little foggy, but.
Yeah, I hope you can sit under your green light after this and it helps.
Yeah, straight to bed. I think that's it for the day. That's a wrap for me.
That's enough. Yeah, so along with all the great tools we talked about, like we said in the beginning, we have a great giveaway with 16 different prizes, and you should go definitely enter the giveaway at the end. There's a link in bio and then a link that we'll share on all our stories, and all you have to do is type in your email and name and you can sign up. But the list consists of 2 lights, NorbRELIEF and a Norb Smart Light, and then a 15-minute free consultation with Dr. Shake, who's a Harvard specialist for headaches and stroke. And then MigRelief is donating some rollers, balm, vitamins, and nausea inhaler. We have a Shades for Migraine beach towel and sunglasses that help block that light sensitivity, a free month for the vestibular group fit, some Rube wellness products, which consist of a shower steamer and some different balms, and a calm migraine supplement from Dr. Ronnie as well. So tons of great products, things to try, new things to add to your toolkit and to carry with you to work while you're traveling, at home. And all these products, I think, really help just the topic of this whole conference, which is better working, learning, and living with migraine. And we definitely want to open this up into a Q&A as well. So if anyone has any other questions or any other things they want to talk about, please feel free to message. And at the very beginning, someone had said that they just feel a bit lonely and like they don't have people to relate to with migraine. And I think that's what's so important about this conference and about the month of June, is just seeing how big this community really is. There's so many advocates like Dr. Sheik, Sherry, and Trudy here, Norb, and all the other advocates that are speaking on our conferences, and just a huge community of people you can talk to and get new ideas and new products from, and just people who understand what you're going through. So I'm so glad to get everyone here together and to talk about some of those topics.
Thank you so much, Claire. This was great. It was nice to be part of it. I appreciate it. And I hope that it helps some of those that were watching.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Claire. And it's so lovely meeting you, Sherry and Dr. Shake. It's always nice to meet more people in the community.
Yes, thanks, Dr. Shake. Great.
Of course. It was great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anything you guys want to talk about? Any other last questions?
I think it's just the general message that, yes, this disease is very isolating. Having chronic pain is isolating. But it's important to know that there are people out there who are in the same boat as you, and that you can connect, and connections tend to make you feel better, because once you know you're not alone, it takes one pressure off. So then you can just deal with your disease rather than the loneliness of it. So we are here. There are a lot of people out here. So reach out and connect to us.
Yeah, I love that.
Nice.
Great. Well, thanks for being here and coming together in this community. And remember that you're not alone. We're all here for you. And everyone have a great day. Feel free to message any of us with any questions. Check out the next events the following 2 Fridays. Next Friday is at 12 p.m. EST, and the following Friday is 11 a.m. EST. And all of that you can find on our Instagram. You can find on the website as well. So you guys have a great day and go sit under your green light for a little bit. Bye.
Bye.